All right, so we just came back from a long weekend, and it's always good on a well, this isn't Monday, it's Wednesday, but it's our first class of the week, to check in with our course outline, right? Remember, I want you to be challenged by the material. I don't want you to be stressed. So you are especially challenged this time in the semester. This is the time in the semester which I call the hardest stretch. If you remember back to the very beginning of the class and the first day stuff and the different metaphors for the semester, this was my master metaphor, right? So we are after midterms now. Congratulations, you've gotten midterm grades. You have more than half your points. This is the hardest stretch for students because we're exhausted. We always come back a little bit more tired than we think we should after spring break. And just like an American Ninja Warrior course, a 16-week college course, you can only fail if you drop, right? So the whole point is refuse to give up through this period. Even when you're exhausted, even when you feel you're not absorbing all the information, it's going to be the most challenging time in all of your classes because this is when you have to synthesize and apply all the knowledge from before, and then you start consolidating it, reviewing it, filling the holes in your knowledge to get ready for final projects, final papers, final presentations, final exams, right? So just remember that. The only way you fail is to drop, whether that's dropping with an advisor before the last day to withdraw, or whether that's just dropping the ball, not pretending the class doesn't exist, just letting it get by you. So how do you keep track of what we're doing? Always from the homepage, this course outline. The thing that I gave you a printout at the beginning of the semester, which you can print out anytime, it's a PDF. This will always tell you what we're doing. So for today, April 2nd, we are continuing to work on assignment 5. That's what's up on our screen. But the other thing that is there is selecting a name for your individual presentation, right? So your individual presentation, you will find it under assignments and under unit modules. We'll go through the unit modules. Unit 13. This will be in a couple weeks, right? And you can always see on the course outline when those presentations start. They start on April 16th. So in 2 weeks. But before you can make a presentation, you need to choose who you're going to do. And no one gets to present on the same person. So let me just introduce these quickly. Individual presentations are based on a contemporary digital artist, someone that uses digital media, digital imaging, either commercially or in fine art or as an amateur, right? But you need to be interested enough in their work and be able to access and get information for at least 7 images. So it can't just be someone that has like a couple images you like online. It needs to be more variety of work. All right, you're going to use Google Slides, and you are going to research that contemporary artist, very similar to how you research the theme for your group midterm presentations. And you'll get 1 point for having, 7 to 10 images. I say around 10, but you get about 10 minutes to present. Having information for each of those images, who the client was, if it was commercial, what the title is, if it was a fine art piece, what its pixel dimensions were, if it was meant to be only digital, like an NFT, or what its physical dimensions are, if it's meant to be a billboard, a poster, a fine art print, the date, the proposed value of the piece, if you can find it, any information you can find out about it. Do not include any artworks that you don't have any information for, right? You want to talk about, there's no curatorial essay you have to write, but you do need to research and talk about in your presentation the artist's history, so their biography, and their process, how they make their work, right? Which we'll get into the programs they use. You might be able to find some extras in this area, like interviews with them or video clips of their process, always very helpful. You'll get a point for being organized and clear, and your 5th point is about extra ways to engage us in your topic in 2 different modalities, right? Whether they are external links you want to take us to that demonstrate their work in a new way, video content, like I said, interviews, other resources, products that they make that you want to bring in, pass around, that kind of thing. So there are no artists that are off limits, but it would probably be a good idea to avoid these artists that were already included in our samples. The beauty is there are tons and tons of contemporary digital artists, right? Contemporary means they live and work right now. So no one that has passed away. Even if they've passed away recently, digital art changes so quickly. It's interesting what people are doing in that landscape right now. So this sample, the artist that they were presenting on was Viore, right? Viore has a Weebly website. A lot of digital artists you might know based on their avatars, right? A lot of them are Patreon artists, Instagram artists, Twitch artists, YouTube artists, but we are not looking at streamers, right, for this. This is not about influencers. This isn't about video game channels. This is about people that create digital image or digital media content, right? So if they are an animator and they post, then you can showcase their animations in small clips, right? This is a digital painter. So this is the image list. It goes through all the work. The mistake here I want to kind of show you is that there's too many images, but they're well organized in that it's 10 slides of images, but each slide contains multiple images. And that's because sometimes you get very enthused about sharing an artist that you like, which is great. Bless you. But what I like is that the images included help us understand the process. So you want to tell us about who they are, and they use this kind of online interview. You can even contact these artists. You have time. A lot of them will respond to any questions you have from them. And then you give samples of their work and help us understand how they make them. So this artist uses Paint Tool Psi to do their digital paintings. It's a shape-based soft edge painting process. And then here are some of that students' favorites, taking us through them. And then some extras include kind of process videos. Speed paintings are very helpful. Or speed process, where the artist has sped it up to post it to social media or online. Developmental sketches are always very helpful. So you have a lot of unique character designs here. GIF animations. Remember, GIF animations and videos are the same modality because they're both sequential, time-based images. So that gets you half an extra point. And then having extras like linking out to exterior websites, like maybe showing us the artist's website or their DeviantArt page or whatever it might be, that can be considered an extra modality of extra too, because you can go back to this presentation and you can research that artist further if you're interested. Okay, another example. This is an illustrator, not a digital painter. And you'll be learning about the differences as you pick your artist, right? Whether they're an animator, a graphic designer, a typographer, whatever it is. So this is the biography. He's a comics artist and an illustrator. It can be from anywhere in the world, right? That's what's fun about the digital art. You can have access to their work anywhere in the world. This one's from Milan, Italy. And some of the favorite works. And then you want to pick your extras carefully, right? You can't show a full 13-minute video, but you can choose kind of the clip, or you can just kind of walk us through it quickly to show how they set up their work, right? For their process. You wouldn't want to include a video on every slide. You got to use your max 10 minutes well. But you help us understand the process, you give the information, and you give the artwork. Now, this is nice to show at the beginning of assignment 5 because you see the difference here. All of this is based on line art that is then colored behind. And that's what we're doing with our spot illustration. We'll be doing digital painting a little bit later. So what we're doing with our assignment 5 is we're doing clean line art like this first, and then we'll color behind it next. Lots of examples, even some just sketch preparatory work. all from one artist or one artist group. And then this is a really nice extra type where the artist kind of made their own version of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. And then you just have a site you can go to where you can create your own comic character, and then you can put that character into one of the artist paintings, right? All right, and then you just have links cited. So those are the past examples, pretty effective. You get to pick any artist you want, but no one gets to pick the same artist. So how do you do that? So a good place to find an artist, which is the most common question I get from students, even though we have the internet, we have all this information at our fingertips, we don't always know where to start. A really good place to start is Behance. Behance is Adobe's professional portfolio site. It's completely free, but it's mostly limited to people doing or seeking professional work. So this could be fine artists, this could be commercial artists, and what you can do is you can search or filter it based on the things you're most interested in, like the creative fields. So they have a lot of them, right? They have a lot of them. So if you're interested in fashion design or fashion illustration, most of this is going to be digital. There's not a lot of people that post analog traditional stuff, even if it looks like that, on Behance. And new stuff is just being added every day. Now, what's nice about Behance is you'll see an artist portfolio, and then they'll invite you to their social media. You can see other projects they've done. And if to get more information about that artist, you can simply look at their profile. Whoops, let's get out of this. I don't want to sign in right now. So let's see. There we go. So we can see their profile even if we're not signed in by clicking here. Sarah Stark. So Sarah Stark, they'll put a little bit about themselves here. It talks about her biography, her technique, how she works. And then what programs they use. This is very helpful. So Photoshop, InDesign, and Lightroom to make these digitally viable illustrations. Right? And traditional tools are part of this artist process, but as long as you can explain how digital tools are also integrated, that's fine. They just need to use digital as a part of their process, usually a major part. So if this was an artist you were interested in researching, you have a whole portfolio of work, and this is all posted by the artist themselves, right? So all of this is intentional. And you can really do a deep dive finding an artist you really like. And then you can always find them on their website. It's wonderful when they have a website, because that will give you kind of their presentation, not using the Behance template. It should give you the information you need. All right. Usually just following an artist on Instagram isn't going to give you enough information, right? So notice she doesn't really post any information about the images, so you need to research them a little bit better than just a social media account that you follow, right? Behance makes that really possible, and it allows you to explore all kinds of different creative fields. So that's my advice. Once you have found an artist, so if I wanted to do Sarah Stark, who I just discovered, right? I need to erase those. We'll replace those. You're going to do just what Evie has done. You're going to make a reply, and you're going to put the artist name just to claim that artist. And it's always nice if you give a little bit of description of them. So I'll do Sarah Stark. And she is a German fashion illustrator. All right. Now, when I actually work a little bit longer, I might start a Google Slides, as you're asked to, for that. And then I would set up the share settings